Eagles plus 2.5. This is simply a quintessential buy low, sell high. You won't see one better than this. The look ahead line was Eagles -3, 3.5. Now it's Eagles plus 2.5. Not a big math guy, but that's about 6-point difference now. You know, the Saints, otherworldly, best offense we've ever seen. Eagles find ways to lose that are just outrageous. They completely blew that last game. Saints coming off 2 blowout wins, one against a pretty good Dallas team, the other against the worst team in the league. So obviously you got to upgrade them some, but to this extent just feels a bit long. We've seen the Saints put up 91 points through 2 games. It's the third most points for any team in the first 2 games of a season in the Super Bowl era. That's just got to come back down to earth a bit. I mean, we're not going to say that Derek Carr is a top 5 quarterback now because they've been, Rashid Shaheed.
Hey, it's an election year.
I know that was a bit concerning. If you haven't seen this trend yet, go look up his stats in 2016, 2020, and now, 2024. But this is still the guy that is one of the worst quarterbacks against the spread as a favorite. This is a tried and true trend that I always go back to. I love to fade him and Dennis Allen as favorites. Carr's 22, 37, and 2 against the spread as a favorite. And then Dennis Allen is 9, 16, and 1 against the spread. That's 36%, one of the worst in the entire NFL.
Yeah, Uppy, how'd that go in week 1 when we tried to fade Dennis Allen?
It wasn't great, but we don't throw these out after 1 week. I'm not trying to overreact too much. I got to go back to the well and fade the Saints once again.
Tim, as our resident quote unquote sharp, is this a trap? Because I'm confused. This seems like the easiest Eagles plus 2.5 bet, like Eagles money line bet I've seen, like maybe in my entire life. Is this a prototypical trap that we are falling into?
Because you think it's an over adjustment?
Yeah, I think the Eagles are clearly the better team.
If Saquon catches that ball, what's the line for this game?
I know. I've been hearing that all week. What's if he catches that ball?
Seriously. Yeah,
it's probably a pick, right?
Pick? Maybe. I mean, look.
This line is definitely factored in. AJ Brown is going to miss a couple weeks, which made their offense pretty stagnant, but they were still moving the ball.
By the way, they still moved the ball. It was just a very short game. Both teams ran the ball a lot, which bled clock, and they went for it, got stopped. If they kick there, they have more points than what it seems, obviously. I thought Hurts, they kept saying it on the broadcast. They were like, Hurts is actually playing fantastic this game. It's shocking that they only have this amount of points. So yeah, I'm baffled that they are getting 2.5. So is this a trap?
Here's what talks me off of this being a trap. So let's flash back to 2023. The Eagles start the season. What were they? 11-0, 11-1. What was the official number?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Then the wheels fall off the wagon, right?
Right.
So from then until now, Jalen Hurts is 2-7 straight up and 1-8 against the spread. So what that tells me is a number like that. The reason why you can't blindly bet trends is because eventually the number catches up. Did we just finally see the number catch up to Philly to what it should be?
That's super fair. My only thing is that happened once Hurts was injured, and I think Hurts, healthy now, has shown he's running the ball more. I think his legs added a ton, especially in that.
Well, it's not necessarily a Hurts stat. I'm using it as a Philly.
No, I understand. Well. I'm just saying, obviously he plays a big part in the stat as a whole and the team as a whole. I think a healthy Hurts has been one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL this season. So yeah, it just feels like a major overreaction for me on both sides, unless what they're saying, which could very well be true, is this Eagles secondary is extremely fraudulent and the Saints passing game is as good as advertised and they're going to absolutely shred them. I just I'm a non-believer, I guess, in the Saints thus far. I get it. He's an offensive passing game genius, it seems. But yeah, I think it's an overreaction.
Yeah, I guess you got to come into it and just evaluate how much is Clint Kubiak worth to the Saints. And I think through 2 weeks, he's shown that it is a huge jump. Imagine if everything we know about Ben Johnson applies to Clint Kubiak. Then we would say this line is fair. Then we might even say it should be 3.5 because against a Philly defense and a Philly secondary who's going to sit back and not even get pressure. I mean, everything that the Eagles did in the offseason, from Ringo thinking he might be a starter, from DeJean thinking he might be able to play this year, from trading Reddick for Bryce Huff, who has a half a tackle in the season. The linebacking corpse is a corpse. Like, it's just a disaster. Slay cannot move. I mean, their defense could be one of the top 5 worst in the NFL. And last year, they were exposed by the end of the season. They were bad. It wasn't Hurts. That's what I think a lot of people miss. The Eagles' problem has not been scoring the football, even with Hurts nicked up. They scored a bunch of points last night or on Monday night. What they scored? 21 points, and then they were driving. So 21 points is going to win you a lot of games in the NFL, especially in today's NFL. And I think that when you have one of the worst secondaries in the league, we need to evaluate the Eagles. We think 2 years ago when they went to the Super Bowl, that deadly pass rush, the incredible secondary with Bradbury and Slay. And I just think 2 years removed from that, we're a little attracted to it. I think the offense can score, but I think it's a fair line. I do think it's an overreaction, but my thing would be, we didn't really cross many key numbers, right? So if the Eagles were going to be -2.5 and now the Saints are -2.5, yes, you are picking up a couple points, but you're not getting a key number here.
Well, through 0 is a big deal. And the look ahead was Eagles 3.5. Eagles -3.5.
Yeah.
So we did.
That if it's 3.5, it's a huge swing.
But I will say, I think if we get Eagles +3 in the contest, I'd really like it.